What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another MMA YouTube video. Long time no see. Today, we are going to just be doing the matchmaking and recap for UFC 314. Obviously, this video is coming out a little late. Usually, this would come out Saturday night or Sunday morning. There's just a lot of stuff that was going on, so bad upload week for 314 overall. Obviously, there was no picks video. We had to make a community post. That was just an entire disaster last week, so it ended up not happening. And yeah.
Um, on the card though, wow, it was. I mean, kind of kind of mid for the early prelims and prelims, but that main card was so good, dude. Almost every fight was like every fight was great. Which one was kind of mid?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
Pitbull.
that was a disappointment. We'll get to that, but awesome to finally have a really great card. Um, some of the most fun fights I've seen in a while. Uh, so this kind of drought we've had of like shitty or mid cards one after another, it's great to finally get like an actually really good pay per view to break that up. So let's get into it.
Um, a main event too, which yeah, well, yeah, like you said, let's get into it. All right, streaming that. Hold on, I have to switch my Discord window.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about with
Mr. Hawk too. All right,
all right, top right, top right,
bottom,
top right,
top right, or hold on one
bottom.
second. Not top right yet.
Make it bottom right.
Or bottom left, bottom left. Yeah, bottom left.
That Jonah 1, 2, 3 again.
Well, we're gonna start with the main event, right? Volkanovski, Lopez, Alexander Volkanovski is back. He wins. One of the happiest moments of my entire life. Insane fight. Um, just yeah, just a great main event, great fight. The fact that people were complaining that Volk was running in round five, like I think they should be euthanized. You have issues, honestly. You genuinely have issues. If you believe that. Also, if you believe Diego Lopez won, what were you watching? Anyways, great performance from Volk. Incredible fight. He's back. Not prime Volk, as we describe him, mind drug Volk. This was not mind drug Volk,
Yeah,
where he's just
not quite on the level of the Holloway fight, but still
yeah,
absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, where he just looks like he's on another planet. He didn't. He dominated for pretty much, 24 minutes of a 25-minute fight.
Yeah,
But it was not he didn't look his reactions were not as good as they used to be. The chin is whatever. You're probably gonna get dropped by Diego Lopez like anyone will, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
No, but
Um,
dude, his chin held up way more than I ever thought it would. He took some
yeah.
like actually really hard like flush shots and just didn't care. Like that 1-6. What round was that? 4? Like
The one where he
yeah,
like
where
hit
his
his
eye
eye and
where
locked
yeah,
him. Yeah, yeah, that was
yeah.
4.
That 1-6 and 4, he just tanked that like flush 6. That I
Yeah.
mean, that was really surprising. I didn't even think he got hit with it um when it happened because he didn't react. But on the replay, I was like, holy shit, Volk's chin is actually like back
Back.
sort of to what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Volk was never a chin guy. He never had a great chin. He was just so hard to hit him for these taller featherweights. So I'd say his chin is back. I was more talking about his speed and his reaction time doesn't look quite the same, but he's still Volk, right? He's still probably one of the most skilled fighters of all time.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, he looked great, dominated. Let's get into his matchup. I mean, everybody knows if this isn't the matchup. Look, I despise Movsar Evloev. I think he's a creep. He's a boring fighter. He's very good though. I don't want to discredit his skills. He's an incredible grappler. Filthy scrambles, filthy top control, filthy all of that. I just think this is the most obvious fight like ever. How the fuck are people saying Yair? People are saying like
Dude,
no, no.
Yair
I
gets
mean,
it. One of the most undeserved title shots I've ever seen. Like
absolutely.
horrible.
And there's such an easy, obvious fight for Yair that we'll get to um soon. So, which yeah, so obviously Evloev, he's the clear number one contender. I think this is a great fight. I think it'll produce a great fight, and I think it'll probably produce a win for Volk as well.
I
Kind
agree.
of hard to see where Evloev wins.
Folks proven himself time and time again against like world class grapplers. Maybe not in the same style as Evloev, but I mean, just look to how well Volk did in the grappling against Islam. I think. title defense in his second reign. That would be super.
A second,
Yeah.
a second Volk like title reign would be unbelievable. Let's get to Diego Lopez, right? Yeah, he looked great. He had a great performance. You're not gonna outstrike Volk in the volume in a technical striking battle. But he did what he needed to do. He lasted all 5 rounds, which was impressive. Not as impressive as I think some people are making it out to be, because he never really exploded. He never really chased a finish like he did in the Ortega fight or the Ige fight. He stayed pretty measured. He stayed throwing single shots or very short combos. Never really let off a flurry, even when he dropped him. So it was impressive. His cardio was clearly improved, but I'm going to be Mr. Pump the Brakes here, as they say. It's not like he's some 5 round fighter, like he landed 60 strikes. You know what I mean? So,
I
but still,
was I was super impressed by his cardio for what we had seen previously, but at that top level, I don't think it's anything that special. He was, like you said, he threw what, or he landed 60 strikes.
like
Um,
68, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah,
So like his pace was very measured for a 5 rounder, which if at any point he really like chased it and exploded, like you said, he probably would have gassed pretty bad. Um,
mm-hmm.
this reminded me a lot
And
of Emmett Murphy. I'll let you talk in a second, but kind of a frustrating thing where it's not Volk or Murphy's fault, but they're still going to get blamed for running away. It is just a consistent failure of both Lopez and Josh Emmett to cut off the cage. Just
can I
every
just
single
say,
time.
I think Volk didn't, dude. He stood in the pocket and traded on multiple
And
occasions with
just
the hardest
won
puncher.
almost every one of those exchanges. Didn't get hit.
With
It was ridiculous.
yes, with the hardest puncher in his division. If you're saying Volk ran, EYL. I think you know what that means. EYL, bro. Like, you're stupid. Sorry. Don't even compare this to fucking. Don't give Murphy. Like, Lerone Murphy tweeted, is Volk running? Dude,
Then
he
got
landed
ratioed.
twice.
Then got
He landed twice the amounts of strikes as you did, Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy, bro. He landed twice the amount of strikes as you did. Shut up. Like,
Yeah, but I mean,
against Diego Lopez, not fucking Josh Emmett. Which look, I'm also a fan of Josh Emmett, as Will is. He ain't Diego Lopez. Sorry.
but I mean, yes, if you're especially if you're like a fan of Emmett or Lopez, it is like me. It is frustrating to see a fight where he's just kind of getting technically dominated, popped from the outside over and over and over again, and he's just failing to make the adjustment. These guys need to figure out how to cut off the cage. And yes, it's difficult against like these guys, like especially Volk, but also Murphy, who are like super top level, ridiculous footwork, like incredible strikers. But you need to figure out how to do that, or you're simply gonna lose. And look what happened in both
It
cases.
it would have been great if the pick video came out and ended up working out, because I mentioned that Lopez is a dominant back and forth mover. That's where he excels. He's so good at that. His lateral movement has always been pretty sus. So yeah, and his matchup once again, same as as Volk's match, the easiest shit you can do as a matchmaker, right? Do this in Guadalajara. If it's a fight night, do it as the main event. If not, the co-main event. I think it might be a fight night though, but if it's a pay per view, obviously maybe you do Volk Movistar as the main event. But yeah, this is just such a obvious fight. They have beef. It's a good fight. Yair's coming off a win. Lopez is coming off a title fight loss. It's easy.
Yeah, I mean, they built it themselves, almost like Lopez knew he was gonna lose. That's a bit of a hating statement, but you know, they did build it very well. Like they knew how both of their fights would go. Um, we'll get to that Yair matchup. It was a bit frustrating, but like I said, we'll get to it. But this should be really fun. Probably two biggest stars in Mexico right now, at least at the top level. But by follower count, of course, Ronaldo Rodriguez has like whatever. We've
Fucking
we've
monkey.
we've hated on him in like half of our videos. Um, but yeah, this this will be a really good fight to like find out the top dog in Mexican
Yeah,
MMA.
yeah. I would say Brandon Moreno is still number one, but yeah.
I mean, but this is kind of like next generation. I don't know. They're both kind of old, but
Ray is pretty old.
Moreno is probably doesn't have too long left in his career. Both these
It is
guys have
exciting.
like probably a good few
All
years.
right, let's move on to the co-main event. Paddy Pimblett looked unbelievable against a horrible, horrible Michael Chandler. We'll get to that when we talk about Chandler. Let's just talk about Pimblett for now. You have to be fucking kidding me, dude. Insane nut shot. All right. Dude, what the fuck even
What
is
is
this?
on that? Like a flower petal?
No, it's like it's a butterfly clipping that a gay Asian dude gave me at my job.
That's fire.
He gave me I'm trying to get this. Whatever. He gave me like a little better butterfly clipping. Uh, yeah, he's gay. All right, Paddy Pimblett, dude. Paddy Pimblett looked great. I don't. I think we're seeing a lot of undeserved hype. I obviously raising his overall a bunch. His rating overall, obviously, once again in the spreadsheet linked below, it has all the ranked fighters and unranked fighters, and we made attribute ratings for them akin to Madden or FIFA. So definitely go check that out. Use it as a guide to any of our videos. But yeah, I'm gonna raise his rating a lot. But let's pump the fucking brakes a little. I know people are making jokes like he finished Bobby Green faster than Islam Makhachev. He finished Chandler when Oliveira in the rematch couldn't. He finished him faster than Poirier. Whatever.
Did he finish
He's good though.
faster than Makachev? That doesn't sound
Yeah, by 1 second.
right. Okay. That's
but
weird then.
yeah, but yeah, dude. He looked great.
Yeah. Man, I really wish that pick video worked out. We had Milo was with us for that one, so it would have been fun in that regard as well. But we talked at length about this fight and all the different things each fighter could do, and we kind of went over a game plan that Paddy could use to win this fight. He did everything right to beat Michael Chandler, literally everything. We're talking about calf kicks and just working those kicks and knees. I mean, everything he did, we talked about, but that video just didn't come out. Everything sucked with that. So,
And
um,
also, in that video as well, I said, and I think Will concurred, dude, he's gonna eat Michael Chandler's shots for fucking breakfast. I said that in the video. I said he's going to eat every single punch because Chandler doesn't really hit hard anymore. I'm sorry, he doesn't. We saw that in the second Oliveira fight. The guy doesn't have the same pop he used to have. His knees are giving out. That's what happens. He doesn't have the same base he used to have. The guy can't really
dude,
crack
he
anymore.
swung as hard as he could, saving like all of his energy for that fifth round. He didn't even drop Oliveira. I mean, Oliveira kind of
And
like
he had to,
went to the ground, but yeah, then he had to then he had to punch him in the back of the head like 15 times or
yeah.
whatever the number was.
Dude, Paddy was on one leg after throwing a leg kick and ate a full force overhand right. Chandler doesn't have it anymore. The dude is so washed. I'm gonna lower his rating even more, even though I was already really low on him. Um, yeah. You want to get into Paddy's matchup?
Uh, yeah, sure, but just real quick, like all props to Paddy. That was a super cool performance. I think he's after that probably going pretty far at lightweight, and I'm glad like um we have like a big star finally making it to this top level because we've had a lot of them, you know, like sputter out, just lose, and then they stay kind of at the same level of stardom and talent for the foreseeable future. But Paddy is moving up, and he is really big.
He's a huge star.
Yeah,
I love Paddy. I think he's
I
awesome.
do
So
too. He's super fun.
best
So
walkout in it. Yeah, best
I'm
walkout in MMA.
definitely yeah. I'm really excited to see Paddy. Let's get into that matchup.
Look, Gaethje Armand to me is a dumb fight. I don't know,
Yeah, no,
man.
that
It just
sucks.
feels
I don't
silly.
want to see that.
It feels silly. I don't really get it.
Armand takes
I
him down and smothers him, probably like TKOs him with the ground.
like
Like,
exactly. Gaethje. I don't want to see Gaethje Islam. I do think JDM beats Bilal, and I do. Sorry, Andre. I know you're watching, and I do think Islam moves up. If that doesn't happen, then they'll do Islam Taporia, and that might open up some other things for like Paddy Oliveira. But once again, it'll be Oliveira Armand rematch. Sorry, it'll be Armand Ilia. No, sorry, it'll be Oliveira Ilia for the vacant. No, It will be Arman Oliveira, ILIA versus I don't really know. We'll have to figure that out. And then I think Gaethje is kind of the odd man out. I don't want to see Paddy Hooker. I think Poirier Holloway 3 is happening. I don't know. Lightweight's tough right now. I just don't want to see Gaethje versus any of those top
Yeah,
guys.
I mean,
That's just me.
Ilia's really like making it difficult for those matchups at the top because we just have no idea where he's gonna go, how he's gonna fit in. If they're gonna put him against Gaethje and just give him a free KO, or Armon, whatever. But you know, both Paddy and Ilia just getting in the top here at the same time, it is difficult to matchmake them. So I think the best fight, most interesting fight for Paddy is definitely Gaethje. This video isn't about Ilia, so who knows? But the top of lightweight, crazy like name value up there. Like holy shit, man. But it is hard to matchmake them. There's so many of them fought each other already.
And there's just so many factors right now with the whole JDM Bilal thing.
Yeah.
I do want to say, this also does this not just feel like a pay-per-view had like a co-main event? Sorry, does this not just feel like a Madison Square Garden co-main? You know what I mean? But yeah, also I just want to say best case scenario for me as a fan, and I think for the health of the division, is Bilal beats not for the health of the welterweight division, for the health of the lightweight division. Bilal beats JDM. We get Islam Ilia. We get Oliveira Arman rematch. We get this, and we get Poirier Holloway 3. We get like Hooker versus I don't fucking I'll figure it out.
It would be cool to see another like super fight like that. But
Absolutely.
I probably would prefer JDM beat Bilal. You know.
Yes, I agree. I prefer that in any world. I love you, Bilal, but sorry. Yeah. So this is a great fight. Also, I'll mention it. You know what? Let's just get on to the next fight, and then I'll mention Michael Chandler. I mean, we already talked about him a little bit. He looked so bad. The guy's horribly washed.
What does he
Watch
have in
I.
him? What does
Yeah.
Michael Chandler have in him?
Nothing.
How is
Has a
what is his
takedown.
path to win?
He's a takedown in round one, and that's about it. The guy is really bad. He's really washed. He's not going to beat anyone good. Watch ITP MMA's or whatever his new channel's name is. Watch his video on Michael Chandler. It was great.
ITP MMA
Um,
Live, I think.
ITP MMA Live. Yes, he made a great video on Michael Chandler. And he spoke truth. I mean, the guy is washed. He shouldn't be getting any more of these opportunities. I think we need to punish Michael Chandler for his sins of. But I don't want to see him versus anybody. I was thinking Moicano. He doesn't deserve Moicano.
And he's clearly lost even his like Dana White privilege or industry plant star power, if you can ever say he had that. Like I have seen so many videos in this lead up to Paddy fight about how Michael Chandler sucks, is a cheater, like all of this stuff. The Michael Chandler hate is at an all-time high. People just don't really like him anymore because he loses and he cheats. So, you
And he
know,
has the coolest, fakest personality I've ever seen.
so I mean, this matchup works well. You shouldn't, even if he puts on entertaining fights or whatever. Dana says Dana loves Michael Chandler. He probably gave Michael Chandler back shots, um, something like that. But Michael Chandler, he keeps losing. Just give him a prospect. Stop giving him money. He's
And
just
I
good.
want to say, don't give him a fun
Yep.
prospect. Don't give him like if Gian Silva stayed out lightweight. Don't give him that. Give him Grant Dawson, who's going to wrestle
Give
fuck
him
him.
the best wet blanket in the UFC. Give him Grant
Yes,
Dawson.
exactly. Fuck him. I do want to say, with the Paddy matchup and with the Chandler matchup, I think for both of them, a high possibility is Brian Ortega. He's number like 4 or 5 at featherweight, moved up and stuff, or he's moving up. I'm almost positive he's moving up.
He's
I'm
gonna
pretty
look.
sure.
Dude, I bet he's gonna look fat and out of shape.
So fat, dude. But he's moving up. So I think Chandler Paddy is both are viable matchups for him. Paddy just because it would be like a fun jiu-jitsu matchup. Rankings wise, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, he's coming off of a number one contenders loss at featherweight, so why not? And then Chandler just because that feels like something the UFC would do. They love Chandler. They love giving him these types of fights. These like old vets who have big names. So that's why I think Moicano is probably going to happen. Even though he took so much damage, and I think Moicano's coming back way sooner. Or he is. Moicano has a fight. Am I tripping?
I'm not sure about that.
Let me check real quick.
But
I
yeah, I
believe
think
my God.
Grant Dawson will be the guy to finally sour opinions of Michael Chandler fully. They'll see like in full HD that Michael Chandler is not good at anything, and Grant Dawson will just
Dude, if people see if people see that that Michael Chandler lost to the dude who got smoked in like 20 seconds by Bobby Green. So, yeah. All right.
and he's done after that. What do you do?
Let's go on to Pitbull. We already talked. Let's just talk about Yair briefly because we already did his matchup, of course, with Diego Lopez, but he looked good. Probably some of the best he's ever looked. Like just technically, he was very patient. He wasn't aggressive at all, like usual. It was a really boring fight because of this.
Yeah,
Also
I
because
mean, one
Pitbull.
big moment in the entire fight, he dropped him in the third round with a what was it, a 1-2?
Yeah, just a
I
1-2.
yeah, just I mean, he looked good, but this is we'll get into it more. The best stylistic matchup possible for him. Um, Worst stylistic matchup for Pitbull. Um, he was kind of not given a free win because, of course, Pitbull's really good, but it was definitely like the cards were stacked against Pitbull here. And I mean, of course, Yair won. Um, he did look good. I'm not sure. I mean, it's Yair, so I don't think he'll ever be like a real UFC title holder or anything. He'll just be a perennial contender. I'm just hating on Yair again. Bad habit. I don't like the guy, especially
Yeah,
not after that performance.
yeah. It was really boring. I would have liked to finish against that version of Pitbull, which is what I predicted. By the way, I predicted that Pitbull would come out and look old. Once again, prediction video, but you could check our community post. I expected him to come out and just look old, washed, really slow, and get KO'd in the first round. That is not what happened. He somehow made it 3 rounds. Yeah, he just looked really bad. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about Pitbull, right? Um,
Kind of disgusting by the UFC. Also, I gotta mention the commentary on
I was about
314
I was about
was
to get to that.
so consistently awful. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead with your thoughts on the commentary.
Yeah, I mean, like Will said, the commentary on 314 was terrible. On this fight, it was where was it at? It was at its worst. Joe Rogan, you bald fuck, dude. I hate him so much. I despise Joe Rogan. Dude, that is some of the worst commentary I've ever heard. Like the most blatant UFC shilling, dude. Okay, we understand what the UFC was trying to do here. They were trying to take in the Bellator GOAT and just have him come in and fight a guy who's coming off 2 losses. And they mentioned multiple times that Yair hasn't won in 2 years. They made sure that everyone watching knew that. So they had Pitbull come in and they had him lose against Yair. It's been 2 years for Yair. God damn. 3 years. It's been 3 fucking years. Holy shit.
So,
Right? Yeah, Jesus. Um, it's been 3 years. My bad. But yes, and so they're like, oh look, the Bellator goat lost to this guy who loses all the time in the UFC. Disgusting shit from the UFC with a legend like Pitbull, but it's what they do.
yeah, and
Beyond
Matt
that, the
mind there are
commentary.
levels to this, dude.
No, dude, if you, dude, I saw a tweet about that shit. Oh my god, they're never to your thing, guys. They're actually never to your thing. Are you fucking stupid? He's 37 years old and he has 43 fights at featherweight, and he just lost to Chihiro Suzuki. Who the fuck is Chihiro Suzuki? Do you know who Chihiro Suzuki is? If you watch Rise, of course you know who Chihiro Suzuki is. Most people don't, and he got slept in the first round. He moved down to bantamweight to fight Sergio Pettis, and this happened to him against Sergio Pettis in his last fight. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? It pisses me off to no avail. The disrespect for this guy, the horrible commentary. Joe Rogan needs to have his nutsack cut off. That's it.
So like disrespectful through the whole fight. You know, matchup fixed to make Bellator look bad. On a positive note, though, it was super cool seeing Pitbull in the UFC and walking out. It was pretty surreal. I was really excited for this. What happened happened. He is what 37, with 43 fights, and amateur fights on top of that. He's just really old. He's had a long, really, really great career, and I really hate to see the disrespect of like an actual MMA legend, just because he loses like a matchup that's stacked against him in the UFC. He's gotten here too late, but he's already had a great career in Bellator. If he loses his next, I hope he would retire. He doesn't really have anything left to prove here, though. I'd really like to stress that Patricio Pitbull, regardless if he gets a win in the UFC or not, is still a MMA legend. He is still an incredible fighter, and people need to respect him.
Absolutely. I want to get back to Rogan real quick, dude. What the fuck? I get it. I get that he's bringing in casual fans, and he is like, he, dude. You can attribute so much of the growth of the UFC to Joe Rogan. Absolutely. What is it going to take to fire him at this point? I mean, the guy's commentary is so bad, and in this fight, it was disrespectful. In the Jan Blachowicz versus Izzy fight, it was disrespectful. Those are just two high-profile things I can think of.
That
It's
Jan
been
Izzy one
so bad.
was so bad. Some of the most biased
So
commentating I've ever heard.
the worst commentating I've ever heard, outside of like True Jordy and the fucking Misfits shit. He's
Yeah,
really bad.
well, dude, he just like it's fucking True Jordy. What do you?
Exactly, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm comparing Joe Rogan, the fucking guy who's been commentating the UFC for like 20 years, to fucking True Jordy, a guy who likes getting shit on his chest, right? I mean, I despise you, Joe Rogan. DC isn't great, but at least he knows what the fuck he's watching. Like
Oh
Joe
yeah, yeah.
Rogan, he doesn't know MMA.
In
He
other
doesn't
fights,
know
Joe
MMA.
Rogan was just calling out the wrong things in like jujitsu scrambles and stuff. Like,
He thought Volk was the underdog. What? And then he said, like, he doesn't know fighting, man. He knows fighting from 2010. He doesn't know fighting. He's washed and he yaps nonsense. And at this point, he's disrespectful to guys. Get him the fuck out. I'm tired of him.
no, I like Joe Rogan consistently. It's like he latches like almost every matchup latches onto a fighter and then just glazes the fuck out of him. Makes it like so no matter what, he thinks that guy's winning. It's crazy.
Yeah,
He like
horrible.
most biased, pound for pound, most biased human ever. It's ridiculous. Um, and that disrespect to Pitbull, like I've said, just disgusting. And so many people, like more than I've ever seen on Twitter, were talking about I would pay to have to watch UFC with no commentary. I totally understand why. This was awful on 314, and I would prefer without.
Those videos they were uploading for a while on the YouTube channel, like if we had that, obviously just with like the regular UFC camera, geez, or just like if we got like I don't know, if we just got dude, there was one card where I listened to fucking MMA Guru's companion stream, and then I had to stop because his chat donations get like really obstructive. But he's a better commentator. Bedtime. Lucas Tracy doesn't stream anymore. They're all better commentators. I'm a better fucking commentator. Whatever. Let's get on to his matchup. We've been talking about this for so long.
I mean, that's
Just a pretty basic one. Danny. Yeah, he won earlier on the card.
that's about it. I mean, like I said, uh, if Pitbull doesn't get a win in the UFC, he is still an MMA legend. He doesn't really need to prove anything at this point in his career. But Dan Ige is the kind of the test matchup for ranked fighters. Let's see if Pitbull at his current form is a ranked quality fighter in the UFC.
Exactly. Exactly. Denny is the definition of like number 13 through number 15 gatekeeper. Horrible stoppage, which we'll get to that fight later with John Woodson, of
Really
course. But yeah, let's move on. We've been talking for a while. I mean, Gian Silva, so much to say. I mean, there's just so much. This is what's so beautiful about this card. There's so much to say on this card, man. Gian Silva, unbelievable performance. Will is
absolutely.
going to get to this. One of the most entertaining like performances fights I've ever seen. He just looked like he was on another planet, as the fighting nerds often do these days. Yeah, he just looked unbelievable. Ended up subbing Bryce Mitchell with a
Yeah,
sick,
I did
perfectly
not
executed
expect
ninja.
that at all. I could have never
Yeah,
thought it would end by submission. Um,
yeah, dropped, beat him up, and like obviously Bryce Mitchell outlanded him by almost triple, but Gian did really beat him up in
especially
round.
not a submission like that where it's not like he rocked him, dropped him, and then subbed him while he's like pretty much out. He straight up just subbed him with jujitsu alone.
While he was in on a single. Yeah, but yeah, first round, Gian just looked. Once he'd full control of the fight, yeah, he was getting his leg kicked up. Yeah, he maybe got jabbed a couple times, but he was in full control of the fight. You could tell Bryce was scared. You could tell Bryce didn't really. I mean, he has heart, but you could tell like he kind of knew like, yeah, I can't really beat this guy. I can't take him
Yeah,
down. I mean, he took him down briefly, but I can't take him down. I can't outstrike him. I'm gonna get hit. And then in round two, that happened. Got dropped with that straight left, and Gian like stepped behind him to make sure he got the knockdown. Just unbelievable stuff. This guy looks truly unstoppable. Then ended up, yeah, like Will said, getting an awesome submission where, caught him on the takedown, perfectly executed ninja choke, used his elbow to block Bryce's chin so he couldn't move his head, and he had to tap, and then he went to sleep. So yeah.
No, I mean, absolutely ridiculous performance. It was pretty cool to have like an actual big fight. Like it had that big fight feel. Um, kind of a little bit further down the card than we're used to. This fight was, I mean, arguably the biggest fight on the card. From all the stuff I was talking about, people were on in the MMA community absolutely loved Bryce Mitchell coming into this fight. Why? Why?
I keep like, I need to stop doing that. I really need to stop doing it.
All right, back into it. But
That was my impression of Bryce Mitchell
yeah,
fans.
no, but I think a lot of people thought that Bryce Mitchell was something he isn't. They expected a bit too much of him. Um, and also, like after this performance, people are for some reason hating on Gian Silva. Like, dude, that dude, this guy maybe has the most fan-friendly style in the UFC. He's weird. He's interesting as a person. He is a star. I don't like just because he beat this guy that you like because he talked about Hitler, um, does not mean you should hate a super entertaining fighter.
I mean, and you didn't even mention the fighting nerds are huge in MMA right now. Gian Silva's part of that wave, like Will said, insanely entertaining and
Yep.
fan friendly style. Where it's not just he has 6 submissions as well. Weird dude, like gets on the cage and fucking, you know what I mean? Weird guy, cool backstory. There's literally nothing to not like.
Yep.
And I do want to mention because people were bringing this up, how he made like a collab post that he's like with like a fucking Zionist dude. It's some Israeli Brazilian guy that's his teammate in Brazil who he's trained with that was posting. And yeah, that Israeli fucker said some dumb shit in the caption, some bad stuff. Absolutely, that's not on Gian, dude. That's his fucking training partner. I'm sorry. That doesn't. You're not allowed to denounce him as a Zionist because of that post and as like an Israeli good goy. Like fuck, dude. End your
No, I mean this
quit the
was
game. You know what I mean? Quit
you
the
know,
fucking game.
the whole lead up to this was just really frustrating from MMA fans rallying behind Bryce Mitchell. It is what it is, though. The fight was incredible. How do you beat Gian Silva? He is dominant and near perfect everywhere. His striking defense is ridiculous. His power is maybe the best at featherweight. He has an insanely deep striking bag. Finds shots perfectly. His takedown defense proven incredible this fight. Um, and his sub like that ninja choke he hit was perfect, literally perfect. He grabbed that so quickly, got it in tight. It was just beautiful to watch. Incredible performance. And you should not in any way be taking this away from Gian Silva. Yes, your guy lost. Yes, you're mad about that. I completely understand. That happens to me all the time because I support fighters who lose a lot and aren't that good. But I'm sorry to all the fighters I like. But dude, don't take this away.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
fucking in your face.
yeah. Uh,
I mean, I'm in
don't
the same boat, but
yeah, don't take this away from Gian Silva. That was incredible. Enjoy his fights. They will always be fun. You know, even if he beat Bryce Mitchell, who you like, whatever,
let's get into that
man.
matchup. Which
Enjoy MMA. Stop making separate this shit from politics. Great fight, super fun. Separate it. Like enjoy the MMA fight. It is an MMA fight.
this is why I'm convinced these people are like stupid, right? These people are really just dumb, like fucked in the head, dumb, right? Dude, he is one of the most entertaining fighters in the UFC. If you are an MMA fan, you like Gian Silva, period.
Yeah.
Some people aren't MMA fans. Some people are anti-Semites more than they're MMA fans. Or are if I know sometimes it's not always anti-Semitism. Some people are just ignorant more than they are MMA fans. Because if you believe Gian Silva is a Zionist, you are ignorant. If you believe Bryce Mitchell, which I think it's a character, so I don't want to call out Bryce Mitchell as a human. I think he's playing a character. But if you like agree with like Hitler was a good guy, you're either ignorant or you're just kind of stupid. But anyways, my point is enjoy the fucking fights. Anyways, let's get to his matchup. Um,
So politically loaded for no reason. But last thing on that. This is super depressing for me. Josh Emmett is my favorite fighter. He just lost to Lerone. Um, but really, like, where do you put Gian Silva? Featherweight, kind of around this area where you'd place Silva is a little rough right now. Where you don't have anyone too solid. A lot of it's very transient around there where people are moving around. No one's really sticking around that like uh, lower tens range. So Josh Emmett, I don't like saying this at all. He's 40, almost 41, kind of on his way out. He looked fine against Lerone Murphy. He looked how he always does, pretty much. But his place in the rankings is important, and we need to move Gian Silva up. I don't really see any way Josh Emmett could beat this. Josh Emmett's power, but Gian Silva, his chin is really, really good, as we saw in the Vallejos. It hasn't even been touched since then. Um, but
don't.
yeah, I mean a little bit, but that proves that his chin is ridiculous because he was just tanking shots from Dober, who hits ridiculously hard.
Um,
The
I do want to. I before I forget, I do want to talk about featherweight. Yeah, we're not doing Gian Silva Aljo. I want to see Aaron Pico versus Arnold Allen. GAETHJE and David Onama. I think Gian wants to be more active than that. I don't think he wants to wait for the winner of that. Both those guys are pretty inactive historically. So, yeah.
yeah,
Anyways,
no, I mean Josh is also pretty inactive, sadly. But if he can, get ready for a fight, he didn't take much damage against Lerone Murphy. Let's get him in there with Gian Silva. Get Gian Silva further up the rankings. Maybe wish upon a star or whatever. Josh Emmett KOs him. Either way, pretty good result. This is probably the best place to put Gian Silva at this point. Not super happy with the matchup, but what are you gonna do, man? Like I said,
yeah, it was
like
this. So before this fight, this was like, oh, dude, if Gian wins, you got to do Emmett Gian. But I didn't expect Gian to win so dominantly and so like, damn, he's ready for the number one contenders fight. So but I didn't. I just don't know. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't know what to do with him. Like if Ortega's sticking around, maybe, but
yeah, you
I
don't
don't
want
know.
to
I don't want to
lose.
do Lerone.
Yeah, Lerone awful fight. I don't want to see that. Maybe not awful, but whatever.
Yeah, I
It's
think
Lerone.
Gian would KO him, but like I don't know. That just feels weird. Like just do him versus Emmett. Get him another cool win, a good win, a high name value
Yeah,
win.
put him at the number one
Yeah.
contender slot. Get him a title shot. Gian Silva's gonna be great.
All
Even
right,
if
let's
I have
get
to
on.
sacrifice my goat Josh Emmett for his career. But yeah, let's keep it on. We talked
Yes.
about this shit for forever.
Um, we already talked about Bryce Mitchell a bunch. At this point, he's kind of just seeming like a gatekeeper. He has the famed, the Jack Hermanson of just win loss win loss win loss. At this point, if you go look at his record,
Well, and he's
he's still
definitely
good. He's
yeah, and he's built himself a fan base with this stuff recently. So the UFC will probably, because they have no morals, they'll keep him around for that. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it's a character. I think Bryce Mitchell is really a good guy. I mean, he's done great stuff in Arkansas with building up some schools and helping kids in Arkansas. I just hate what he's done to the MMA community. I think he's absolutely ruined it. Not ruined, that dampened it. He's made it just bad. A lot of hate and divide, which I just despise. I wish love would win more than hate, which here it did. Gian Silva got to win, and a lot of those hateful people got shut up. But I don't know. There's a lot of hateful people on the other side, like Dave Portnoy, you fucking scumbag, standing in the
yeah.
in this
That
in this standing in the crowd
it
with a fucking yarmulke waving an Israeli flag. Go fuck yourself, dude.
made it difficult. I mean, it almost made it difficult to support Gian Silva, seeing like people that I hate, even outside of this political thing, continuing to bring like hate into the matchup, making it across both sides. Like
Anyway, yeah, but
stuff like that with Dave Portnoy is not going to make it any easier for like regular Jewish people. But let's not get into that
yeah,
conversation. Um,
fucking scumbag freak. I hate Dave Portnoy.
yeah, Bruiser,
Anyways,
you
Gian,
suck. Kill yourself. Sorry.
as a fighter, he's okay. He's a good grappler. He's just really unathletic and doesn't have much threat on the feet. I'm really struggling. Let's just get into the matchup because why not? We've been talking for so long. We should
Yeah.
probably speed things up a little.
Whatever. Yeah.
Um, This is kind of, and what Will just said, this is kind of a whatever matchup. I just don't really know what to do with Bryce Mitchell. There's so many other fights in this 12 to 25 range that I want to see. I want to see Haider Emil versus Steve Garcia. I want to see Shepe Mariscal versus Edson Barboza. I don't agree with it, but it seems like
All those matchups are
what's the
really fun. Bryce Mitchell is
that's what I'm saying.
not too fun for matchmaking.
That's what I'm saying. Is I'm saying those are the matchups that I want to see that are really fun. And then David Onama, Giga Chikadze is happening. Like I just don't want to like break up. And I know this is my fucking fantasy land with my matchups, but still, I don't want to break up any of those matchups to give someone to Bryce Mitchell. So I thought Nathaniel Wood. He's on a win streak. He's beat good guys at featherweight. Good win over Sherrier. Just give him Mitchell. It'll probably be a Mitchell win, to be honest. If I were to pick, I would probably pick Bryce Mitchell to take him down a bunch. But you don't really know. I mean, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, I want to mention. Sorry, I want to mention. I was thinking Felipe Lima. I love Felipe Lima. I'm super high on him, but I think he's going to want to be a little more active. I think Bryce Mitchell will probably be coming back around the December pay per view. So
uh, yeah, I mean, I didn't have much to say. It's kind of a lame matchup, but really, what are you gonna do with Bryce Mitchell? He is going to be maybe even an unranked gatekeeper. He's just like you said, just athletic, not too good outside the grappling. I think he'll be fine, but I think Nathaniel Wood is a good enough matchup for him that doesn't like disrupt a lot of those other great fights that we mentioned.
yeah, let's move on to Dominic Reyes. The title run is continuing, and honestly, if you have anything to say on Reyes, say it right now because mine kind of transitions into his matchup. So
I have stuff to say about Krylov, but no, not about Reyes. Great performance.
okay, yeah, great performance, awesome knockout, just sick as fuck. And we're talking about a Dominic Reyes title run. The man is 35. His chin is already bad, and it's going to only be getting worse, dude. I want to see him versus the winner of Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree in a number one contenders fight. I do not want to see Reyes versus Rakic. I do not want to see Reyes Blachowicz 2. I do not want to see Reyes Ozdemir 2. I do not want to see any of that. I want to see Reyes in a number one contenders fight, dude. It is a now or never boom or bust with Dominic Reyes. He's only going to be. And I know you can be old at light heavyweight, but not with the damage he's taken in his career. There's no point in like building him up as if he's a prospect, as if he's a Gian Silva, as if he's even in that division, as if he's a Carlos Ulberg, right? There's no point in giving him, okay, here's number 15 Smith, then here's number 8 Krylov, then here's number 7, number 6 Racket. No. Krylov is a good enough win, even if he's coming off the layoff and looked horrible, which we'll get to, as Will said. No. Number one contenders fight. He's fighting Jamal Hill, Khalil Roundtree. That fight's happening in June. Right, then the winner can fight each other in like December or January. I think it's a great fight. I think Reyes has a chance to win and get himself a title shot,
Yeah,
which is
I mean,
crazy to say. Yeah.
who knows how long Dominic Reyes' athleticism is going to hold up? He's already not durable. Let's rush him to that title shot. Let's really give him that opportunity he deserves. Um,
Yes.
and this is the fight to do it. Both these guys
That
are
got
beatable
fucking
for Reyes.
snatched from him.
Yeah,
That got absolutely snatched from him 5 years ago in that horrible
let's
robbery.
give him another shot before it's too late. Give Dominic Reyes what he deserves. Let's get him a pretty much number one contender fight with this. He can argue for a title shot after this, and maybe he deserves one. I don't know. Light heavyweight. Let's see how the title picture goes. It could be super inactive and shitty. But let's get on to Krylov.
Yeah. And I'll start on Krylov because I know you said you have a lot. I saw just I don't have much.
I don't have too
He
much, but because we got
yeah,
to
he
get
just
to
looked
Will. But yeah,
really washed. He looked really bad. I feel so fucking bad for him, dude, that he has to rep the Russian flag now. It's just depressing. I
you're
hate
saying he
what's
like
going on now.
betrayed his country? Is that I don't really know the story too
Dude,
much, but
you fucking pieces of shit. Like he lived in the Don or lived. I think he probably trains in Russia fully now, but he lived in the Donbass region, dude. Look up where the Donbass region is, and look up what country occupied. Like fucking dumbasses, man. No, he did not betray his country. His country got stolen from him. But yeah, so I feel really bad, man. He looked horrible. And yeah, you can.
no, I was sad about this. I picked Krylov going in. I liked Krylov back when he actually did fight before this massive layoff where we all thought he was dead. Um, but it's just awful point to come back to. All around disappointing. Uh, we know he runs forward with wild strikes, but this was especially bad. He got caught completely off of his base. pretty much doing everything wrong in that blitz, like he was asking to get KO'd, which is really sad. Uh, just not a good performance at all. And this is a really bad sign going forward for this guy. I just don't know where to fit him in. We have a matchup for him that I think is pretty good, but I'm not sure if he'll be winning much at light heavyweight anymore, especially not at this top level. Of course, ring rust, whatever, you can make excuses for him. I'll give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt to him going forward because that was a ridiculously long layover or layoff. But who's to say how good Krylov will be in his next? But let's keep
Yeah.
going.
So like, yeah, and this is what I think his next fight should be. Now I know people seeing this, you'll probably think maybe that's a little high, especially if it's Jamal Hill. Think about it. If Jamal Hill loses, he's going to be on a 3-fight win streak. If the more likely outcome, Khalil Roundtree loses, he's going to be on a 2-fight win streak with his best win in his previous win streak being Anthony Smith, right? So I just think this is a good matchup. It's not like Krylov is some guy like Ryan Spann or some guy like Anthony Smith, like he was in line for a number one contenders fight at a certain point before he had this crazy long layoff. So yeah, I think this matches up well, and the loser of this hypothetical fight would really be in trouble in terms of their career. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about Roundtree. He's built like a really solid fan base with this Pereira fight and like his little run he's put together here. I don't know about his whole career, but either way, this is also, I'd like to mention, a pretty good fight. Krylov, super messy, not that good, and maybe his chin's gone, but whatever. He's almost always entertaining, and so are these guys here. People hate on Hill. He is entertaining. He does have good fights, no matter what.
I despise Hill hate. It
Yeah.
feels so forced and
Uh,
or just bot brain. There's a lot of bot brains in the MMA community. There's that too. I'm not going to go on another rant,
yeah.
but yeah.
No, but like either way, both Hill and Roundtree versus Krylov would be a really fun fight. Same with both Dominic Reyes versus Hill and Roundtree. Uh, these two matchups with these two fights, could be really fun no matter how you switch them around. So
Also, there just isn't much else at light heavyweight. Like I was thinking maybe a Min Yang Zhang, Anthony Smith winner, but I just feel like that's not exactly right for Krylov. I think that winner would more fight like a Jan Blachowicz. So
I would
yeah,
say depends on how good Min Yang looks against Anthony Smith. Then maybe you can argue that, but I think this is the most solid pick
but
right
if Min Yang looked really good, I want to see him versus Jan. I don't fucking care, dude. It's light heavyweight. I don't care how big of a jump up that is. I don't care. All right.
now. Min Yang madness, it's coming.
Exactly. All right. Um, Sean Woodson, victim of one of the worst stoppages of all time. Maybe did. Oh
Awful.
well, Danny Day was clearly on his way to winning. If he wasn't going to finish him, all the judges had him up 2-0, which is
Scorecards,
asinine.
yeah, scorecards ridiculous, stoppage ridiculous. Sean Woodson kind of just got screwed over
Dude,
in
he was
every
getting
way.
screwed no matter what
Yeah,
tonight. Like,
pretty
yeah.
insane. Um,
And I heard that his colony was so embarrassed for his loss that they didn't even want to bring him back to the UFO to the flying saucer. Yeah,
so
they didn't even want to suck him back up. Didn't want to beam him back up. Pause. They didn't want to beam him back up. Like, yeah, his colony was so embarrassed.
yeah, just took like L after L after L here. He's still good. He just got caught. I think he was, in my opinion, he was winning against Denige, and I think that's a general consensus. People are pretty shocked by those scorecards. So I think Sean Woodson still can make it at featherweight. And with this matchup, uh,
Yes, I do want to say it wasn't like some fluke. Like he was gonna get hit. If you were watching, it just felt like Ige was getting closer and closer and closer to cracking him
and he
than he
almost
eventually.
always does get cracked because his defense is weird. But I mean, of course, if Ige hits you, it's going to be a lot worse than pretty much
Yes.
anyone else. But yeah.
Exactly. Okay. All right, this fight's so shit. Anyway, no, well, actually, it's not. So their first fight was a fucking banger. Arosa ended up subbing him in the third round. It was a crazy fight. Arosa is on a 3-fight win streak. I just feel like two tall guys. It'll be a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, not many notes. I think Sean Woodson at this point in his career is quite a bit better than Julian Rosa, and this will be a
I
good
agree.
bounce back. Get that get that L back, the only one in Sean Woodson's career, and he avenges that loss, and then goes on maybe to to another shot at the rankings.
for sure. Chase Hooper, pretty boring one against Jim
A
Miller. I
little
think
disappointing,
anyone.
to be honest, but
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he looked fine, but I just expected a finish. His striking didn't look good. His grappling looked good, but once again, I expected a finish. But hey, Jim Miller's tough. He's hard to deal with. It was a pretty boring fight, but he gooned too much. If you goon too much, you're gonna lose.
what are you
So
gonna do?
that's how it works.
But yeah,
Exactly.
he just in his last few fights, he's looked incredible. Kind of disappointed to see him look worse than he has recently, but he still won very soundly. Let's finally get him a matchup with a guy who isn't like 300 years old. Oh
Close,
well.
and maybe chin wise, he is 300 years old. But yeah, Matt Frevola is actually only 34. But yeah, I don't know. I just think like he called out Yam. No, there's no reason to do that. Yam's on the up and up. Chase Super's only 25. There's no reason to be like, yeah, here's fucking Yam who just brutalized Matt Frevola. So why don't you give him Matt Frevola, right? Keep building him up.
So
Yeah, he is. Build up Matt or build up not don't build up Matt Frevola. Build up Chase Hooper a little more. I think there's pretty much no way he loses this fight. Matt Frevola looked so bad against Yam.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Chase Hooper, he's fought a lot of these like smaller names at lightweight, and it's building his career up pretty well. I mean, Chase Hooper um, has a lot of fans. Let's keep working on him. Get a real star in Washington. Maybe he can
Oh yeah.
main event another UFC Seattle. That would be really cool.
Hell yeah. PNW represent, dude.
Let's Julian Rosa too, I guess. Um,
Shout out.
but yeah, let's keep having Chase Hooper beat guys until he's ready for the top 15. I think if he looks dominant in this performance, he can argue a shot at the top 15. But with how young this
Depending
guy is, you don't want to push him too fast. So
exactly.
yeah.
No reason to be giving him fucking oral by. You know what I mean?
Oh
Um, all right. Jim Miller, we kind of already talked. He looked old. This was the expected outcome. Obviously, a lot of people, including us, expected Chase to finish him. So at least he's still got that savviness on the ground. Yeah,
very
let's
very
go.
good sub defense by Unk here. But let's
Yes,
get to
by
his matchup.
Speaking of Unk, all-time Unk off. This was supposed to happen a couple years ago. Whatever. It'll probably be a decent
How
fight.
long has
Jared
it been
Gordon.
since Jared Gordon has fought? It's been forever,
Since August of last year when he fought Hack Pressed. Okay, he had a couple fights canceled where a couple different dudes pulled out.
right?
He
Yeah.
was supposed to fight Cowboy Fernandez and he pulled out or yeah, he pulled out and then ended up fighting Garam. No, he fought Garam like he got rebooked with Garam or something and then Gordon was meant to fight some like one of those name like Arab name. I forget it's like blah, 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 and the guy pulled out. So yeah, we got this Unkoff. Miller didn't really take damage, so like you don't need to sit him out for super long. So
Yeah, I mean, this will be an alright fight. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, even though it was supposed to. Not many notes. It's not it's no voices in the air kind of matchup or whatever, but it's fine. But what do you do with Jim Miller at this point in his career? He is old as fuck. I think with Vince Pichel retiring, he is the oldest fighter in the UFC. So you gotta.
if
What was that?
Vince Pichel
Yeah,
is
if I
retiring,
don't know. He should be though, but whatever. Um, you kind of you do this kind of thing with Jim Miller. Give him these winnable but pretty good fights.
Unks, you gave him another Unk, and then when the time is right, give him another prospect like Jay Super. All right, I don't even want to talk about
Oh
it.
my
He
god,
is
man!
one of the worst a fighter has ever looked in
If
the
you saw it,
UFC.
yeah, if you saw it, you know it was.
Yeah, I mean, it was horrible to watch. This is this is disrespectful as fuck, but dude, he needs to retire. He took so much damage as he continues. I mean, he has, you know what I mean? He is the damage. He needs to retire,
I
like
mean,
straight
and
up.
like everybody after that is saying like I think I could beat Darren Elkins, which is insane to say for a UFC fighter. But dude, with how bad Darren Elkins looked, I that's not really ridiculous to say that. Like, dude,
Dude, I think like
street beefs are worse level on that. Like,
I think like
horrible.
Travis Hunter could be. Darren Elkins in a fight.
Yeah.
I think that's what like I think a random football player. He's like an all-time talented one. I think like a random fucking wide receiver could beat Darren Elkins in a fight, dude.
Yeah. I mean, dude,
Not even a heavy guy, a wide receiver, 200 pounds could beat Darren Elkins in a fight.
he just has nothing anymore. Pretty sad to see, but this is what happens when you rely on your durability your whole career and you get old.
And
So
I just want to say, like, it is so sad to see the degradation of this man's face. Like, he used to be a pretty handsome guy. Dude,
no
look at him
scar
now.
tissue, he's so fucked up.
His face is just
Aaron
fucked up,
Elkins,
his eyebrows.
please retire. I hope he's forced into retirement regardless. That was just no kind of performance a professional MMA fighter should put on. Yeah, get him out.
Yeah, and it reminded me, it reminded me of the Cub Swanson, but like Cub Swanson looked like he was on another planet in that performance against Darren Elkins. Julian Erosa looked whatever and like destroyed him. So yeah, let's move on. We got okay, we are getting into the bottom of the barrel. We do got an interesting fight with Marco Tullio, so definitely please keep watching. But we got McCall Olajaychuk defeated Dumas by round one left hook? Question mark? Because was it? It was
It's like
a
a
forearm.
round one left forearm.
And
Weird.
it seemed like Dumas was kind of just quitting. The guy, you know what? We'll get to Dumas. Let's just talk about McCall for now.
But I mean, McCall, with fighting nerds now, good for him. He did look really good. It is Dumas, so you can't really measure yourself too well because he's really really bad. But I'm so happy to see McCall win again. I'm glad he wasn't cut after his last one because he was on a super long losing streak. But he's a super fun fighter. I like that they gave him another shot. I appreciate that because we will always be there for McCall Olajaychuk.
Absolutely. We love McCall over here at Pacific MMA, dude. He's a fun ass fighter. He's a pole, you know. He's fun. All right. So, I mean, Chris Curtis is one of my favorite fighters ever and currently. This is such a fucking banger. Chris Curtis has been locked in since the Kopylov fight, which was a bad stoppage. He was gonna lose anyways, but fuck it, I don't care. Shit stoppage.
Let a guy go to decision, man. What
For
horrible.
like 5 seconds left in the fight, you fat piece of shit. I don't even
While
remember who's right.
while Kopylov is walking away, it's been like said to death. Horrible stoppage, one of the worst ever. But let's get into the matchup here.
Yeah. This is just a fucking banger. These guys are gonna stand and trade. No one's shooting a takedown. No one's throwing a fucking kick. We are standing. Body shot, headshot, headshot. Dude, I'm getting fucking hyped. This is a sick fight.
This better happen,
Um,
man. This is a great way to get Curtis back into the win column. Or if McCall is really him with fighting nerds, let's keep him winning. This will be a good matchup pretty much no matter what. Two fun strikers, like you said, no takedown. Because Chris Curtis has never ever shot a takedown his entire career because he's the goat.
he's a boss.
Yep. So either way, man, this can't be a bad matchup.
Exactly. Um, all right. Then we got Cedricus Dumas. I just want to say this guy, he is I think 3-2 or 3-3. No, he's 3-3 in the UFC. Um, but he's so bad, man. He does not reflect a 3-3 record or no 3-3 record.
It shows
The
how
guy's really,
terrible
really,
middleweight is. Like holy shit.
yeah, really, really horrible fighter. Not doesn't seem like the best person either. And man, he kind of seemed like he just quit in there. I know temple shots can do that, and he was bitching about the stoppage. It was a weird stop. It like I don't know why you don't either stop it a little earlier or just wait a little longer. You know, it felt like a
Yeah.
weird middle
I
point
mean,
of a
it,
stop.
it
But
was it was like 34 unanswered strikes, so I do
no, no,
get
no.
it. But
I'm.
yeah,
It was a good stoppage. I'm just saying I don't understand why a ref
yeah, just
wouldn't either
weird
stop it
weird
earlier or
timing.
later.
Yeah.
But like, dude, no reason to bitch about that. You're garbage at fighting. For a UFC fighter, I'm not gonna preface that every single time. I don't fucking care. Relative to UFC standards, you are shit at fighting, and I don't know how you win fights. I'm talking to you, Cedric Stewart. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing to say about him. He's not very good. Just on to the matchup. I go.
Rebound for Zachary Reese, right? Zachary Reese is an awesome, fun fighter. Dude is game. He has cool subs, crazy power, bad chin. Exactly what you want in an entertaining middleweight, and I just think this is a good rebound for him.
Yeah, Zachary Reese, if he continues in the UFC, doesn't get chinned over and over again, he could end up being like my favorite middleweight. He has like the perfect formula for that. I like fighters who lose, and I'm okay with them losing. Where I don't have too much stock in them, where I have an expected outcome either way. This dude, when he wins, it is super entertaining. Always. Like not against the best opponents, of course, but I think he can keep killing these middleweight shitters in really cool ways. Absolutely obliterated um, Julian Marquez, and what was the other one? Jose
He just
Medina.
like
Yeah, he
bullied
assaulted.
Jose
Yeah, he
Medina.
assaulted Jose Medina. The cops probably should have him into the cage after that. But I think he'll do the same thing to Dumas because Dumas sucks. He's a terrible striker, and really, I mean, he doesn't have power, even though he maybe, if we're being racist, looks like he should. Um, but he can't really beat Dumas anywhere. I mean, can't really beat Reese anywhere. Sorry. And let's get Reese back in the win column after kind of
Exactly.
KO.
Next fight. I don't want to sit on this for too long. This fight sucked. Both of
And
them
your
looked
son
really
is a
bad.
geek.
When your son is a geek, dude. I mean, both of them looked really bad. Sumaderji looked so downgraded from the Charles Johnson fight. He did win. Raposo did absolutely nothing, so
Yeah,
yeah, he
I mean,
won.
people calling robbery, you're wrong. Whatever. Let's not.
Oh, guess who called robbery mid fight, which you're not supposed to do as a commentator. You stupid bald fuck. Joe Rogan said Mitch Raposo got robbed.
Yeah.
Freak. I'm not gonna go on another Joe Rogan rant, but Andre Lima, I'm gonna definitely have to raise
Hold on.
Sumaderji in the rankings. All right, weird cut there, so sorry about that. But Metroposo, Sumaderji, whatever we talked about it. Andre Lima, whoever wins this probably could start looking at the rankings. Andre Lima is a great prospect. Sumaderji seems like he's just kind of a guy with a limited bag. So yeah,
What do you say? Just skip. I don't care.
Metroposo, I don't want to talk about it. Luis Carol, let's skip. Marco Tulio, there's nothing to say, man.
Yeah.
Marco Tulio looked fucking awesome against Trayshawn Gore, as he has. I love Marco Tulio. I've been a fan of this guy since since before he fought Yusri Belgari, and had his kind of breakout performance on the Contender Series, and then didn't get signed because Dana's a fat, stupid, bald fuck. I've been a fan of him.
Killed
I
Dana.
like him. Kill exactly. I think he's a really fun fighter. He's just cool. So let's get into his matchup. Dude, this is just such a stupid. Like, all right, Eric Anders is basically just a victim out there. Unless he's fighting like Chris Weidman. Dude, there's a fucking
Sonar bug on screen.
whatever that's. Um, he's just a victim out there. Tulio would smoke him. But hey, the point is, Tulio's kind of fought two, bums. Why don't we get him? All right, that should just be there. Tulio's kind of fought two bums. Why don't we just give him a vet, a name, a presence in the welterweight or the middleweight division? And if he gets a win over him, it's like, oh look, he actually has a real win in the UFC that isn't Trayshawn Gore, Iho Portier, which each have their own merit. But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird. Uh, dude, the lower level of middleweight is so bad, and making matchups for actually good fighters at this real bottom of the barrel is difficult. Because of course, people who start at the bottom here from the contender series and stuff need to build their career naturally, and sadly, that means destroying cans for the first few fights if you're at middleweight. But that's just what Marco Tulio is going to have to do. He's going to probably kill Eric Anders in a really cool finish. But sadly, what you have to do with middleweight, shit division, but it is pretty fun. Let's keep going.
All right, final matchup. Not much to say. Trayshawn Gore, he hung in there, but the guy got destroyed. But as
Surprising
expected, Marco.
durability, man. Like I did not
Yes,
expect him to take that much damage.
he's the dog. He's a dog. He was actually on a 2-fight win streak. So regularly with a guy of this level, you'd cut him after a loss like this. But he was actually on a 2-fight win streak. So, but dog. Good heart. So I got him going against Monster Abdul Malik, who is fighting Dusko Todorovic in June. But I think Trayshawn Gore is going to want to take a lot of time off, right? The guy took so much damage. Historically, he's pretty inactive. So I think please don't lose to Dusko. I think Monster will get through him. I like Monster as a prospect.
He could have
And I
another
just think
weird not even
I don't
speak
think
that into existence though. But yeah,
we watched that live. That was a rough one. Um, yeah. So Trayshawn Gore, give him another prospect. Probably gonna lose, but hey, what are you gonna do? He's not the best, and
I
it's
mean, Trayshawn Gore, when you look at him, you don't see a guy who's really ever going to move too far up the middleweight division. Mansoor Abdul Malik has potential, so let's get another cool finish.
I do want to say, like, for Trayshawn Gore and Cedricus Dumas, who we talked about earlier, these are two guys who like have wins in the UFC, and they're like, I think Gore's like 2-2 and or 2-3 in the UFC. Dumas is 3-3. Neither of them are UFC level though. Of course, Gore is much better than Dumas. Like, I really am that low on Dumas. I think he's just really bad. But yeah.
Say much
Anyways,
better, but yeah.
all right. I'm gonna switch the stream to the outro. Hold on. We are going to full screen that bit.
Damn, I'm so yellow. Holy shit.
All right. 3, 2. All right, well, that's it. Thanks for watching. We had a lot of fun. We talked for so long, but hey, great card. A lot of stuff to talk about. So, yeah.
Yeah, see next or this week now, we're going to be uploading quite a bit more. Sorry about the inactivity last week. It
Yeah,
is what it
every
is.
day.
Yeah. So, we'll have a lot of fun videos while you bide your time till the next UFC event. So,
Yes.
see you in the next one, which will be
Yep.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Yes. All right. Fire.